hope you and your families are doing okay during this pandemic. Of course, I have a big family. Of course, there's a lot of concern, of course, for my family, of course, our staff, our team, and we're doing everything that we can to keep them safe. Eventually, we're going to beat this if we, number one, do what the experts tell us to do. As a coach, I'm constantly telling our players to be coachable, and we have to be coachable, and we are doing everything that the experts tell us to do, practicing social distancing, quarantining, if that's necessary, washing our hands. All of the things that the experts are telling us to do is what my family's doing, of course, and what we're asking our players to do. I'll just kind of catch you up on what has happened since maybe we talked last. We finished up our all-season workout program, which consists of, agility work, no football actual work, but our meetings. But I'm talking about working with Coach Lou, our all-season workouts, which is pretty hard. We had an 8-week program that we finished up Thursday, March the 12th. That was our last official workout together when this coronavirus made us start adjusting our lives. Our players and our students went on spring break that following Monday, and that's Monday, March the 16th through Friday, March the 20th. We allowed all of our players to go home, tried to coach them up as best we can about, this virus and what's going on and what we were going to do. And, of course, we let them do their thing, with their families, go home until we reported back, per se, remotely on March the 24th, this Monday. Of course, during that time, our university canceled classes, except for when we came back, remote classes done online. So that's kind of where we are right now. As a student, our players are going to class daily like they normally would at their same time, but just doing it remotely with no one being on campus. And we're adjusting to that, and it's working fairly well. Our students also have tutors available for them remotely. So anything that you would normally have as a student on campus is what we're providing them still, as far as our classes are concerned. Football-wise, our schedule, as we see it in the foreseeable future, and we don't know how long this will go, but just talking about the rest of the semester right now, we're allowed to meet remotely with our athletes 8 hours a week. When we use it 2 hours per day, 4 days a week. And that's what we're doing. We have our meeting set up where we will meet team-wise, group meetings, and position meetings, like we would be meeting if we were on campus right now. And we get a little bit better at it each day, but we're getting there's a lot of value. We're getting a lot of good work done away from everyone. Our football team right now, we're everywhere you can imagine. All of our players are home. No one is in our building. Our building is completely shut down. Coaches' offices, weight room, training room, no meeting. So no one is in our building right now. So everything that we're doing is away from, from home. Workout-wise, right now, for some of you young people on right now, you probably don't remember this, but there was a day, me being an older person, of course, where our athletes went home for the summer. And we had a weight program, a strength conditioning program that we had to follow. We had to show discipline to do it daily and find ways to get our weight workout in. If there's no weights, you can still, there's sit-ups, pull-ups, there's push-ups. You can always go out and run, keep your, the 6 feet away from anybody else that's out there on the street. So there are ways to get by. So Coach Lou and our strength staff are, it's a customized plan that we have for everyone as we go through it. And the last thing I'm going to say is eventually we're going to play football. And as far as the University of Illinois is concerned, we'll be ready when we're told to turn the lights back on and go back to work. But in the meantime, we're going to do what we can. It's bigger than football. So we're going to, I talked to you about football and what we're doing school-wise. But the rest of the time, we're trying to do whatever we can to just help, stop the spread of this disease.
Coach, it's Heather Dinich at ESPN. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Heather.
Thank you. In regards to the Herschel Walker type workouts that you were talking about, running and lifting and body weight and things like that, what is the staff doing? What are the players doing in terms of keeping each other accountable for staying in shape?
Heather, we meet, as I said, 8 hours a week, 2 hours a day for 4 days we meet. I'm talking about, and we're using Zoom where we can actually see each other. Everyone in the room, we can see. So we talk about that daily. And there has to be some trust, always. And you have to, playing football, the discipline that goes into the play being successful every play. As coaches, we're on the sideline. We tell the guys what to do, and then we can watch what they do. So that's what we're doing. We meet daily. We talk about it. We have them send us videos as much as possible and things like that, and feel like this is working.
What about in terms of nutrition? I'm sure that there are guys who have to gain weight, some who have to lose weight. Are there things that they can do? Are there diaries that they keep, or how are they tracking meals and working with a nutritionist?
Well, Heather, look at it like this. If we were in the building, what would we be doing? I think you can do everything that way. First off, the guys that need some nutritional supplements that were on different things that we have that they had here on campus. We're providing them the same thing at home. And if you don't trust someone, you can make them, just by video, you can make them weigh themselves in front of you. Look at the scale. You can also make them, if it's someone that you don't trust, we have a few guys that are dealing with weight issues. You can have them, whatever you want them to do, you can have them do it remotely on video, by video, to be able to see it. So you can still get the same things done.
Lovie, this is Andy Seligman with the Associated Press. I was wondering, in light of what's going on and with the lack of pro days, have you been spending more time on the phone with people from the NFL, trying to pump up your players?
Well, see, that first off, we're always doing that. This virus didn't take that for us. So I just want to make sure that I stress the same things I would be doing in the office I'm doing right now. So yes, that's a part of my weekly, daily routine also, is some of that. So we're communicating just like I would be, if I was in my office. I know the NFL draft is coming up, and it's going on at schedule. I think the commissioner came out with today. So, and we're just asking our players. Luckily, we had also gotten our pro day in before we broke completely. So our guys, all of our outgoing seniors, got a chance to work out in front of for their pro day before then. Now, guys have, for the most part, the information they need, and a few follow-up calls is about all you can do.
Coach, this is Bob Osmus. How you doing today?
Doing great, Bob. How about you?
Good. You obviously have things. You had momentum from last year. You got the bowl, all that stuff. What does this do to that?
Well, I don't think it changes anything. As a coach, you just want a level playing field, and everybody going by the same rules. So nothing has changed. Before this virus started attacking our country, we were preparing to have the best football season we've had in a long time at the University of Illinois. Yes, building off of a bowl season, but building off of 15 starters that had their first action years ago. They're now seniors. optimism just based on what has happened in our 8-week off-season program. So nothing has changed. What we're finding, having to meet remotely, and the technology that's available nowadays, I think you can even gain ground. So we plan on being on one of those teams that's going to benefit from having to do things a little bit differently right now, and we just like our team. As I talk about 15 freshmen, 3 years ago starting, those are seniors now, so we have more of a veteran group that I feel like will be able to handle what we're going through right now.
Coach, did you talk to other college coaches about this?
Yeah, a little bit. It's college coaching. We don't share that much information, but we feel pretty good, a little bit, but we feel pretty good about what we're doing right now under the circumstances.
The last thing, you went through the lockout with the NFL. Does this kind of have that feel a little bit? You couldn't play with players then. Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to someone earlier this morning, matter of fact, about that. I have been through it, and back then, I think it was 2011 or so, when we had the NFL lockout. I think maybe they canceled a Hall of Fame game. They were coming in earlier that year, but that's what we did. We adjusted. Everybody went by the same rules, and we all started up at the same time. And most people don't even remember that we went through some changes during that season. And I assume eventually that we're going to play football, and hopefully we'll have similar results. And everybody adjusts, and we're going to still eventually put a good brand of football on the field.
Thanks, Coach.
Lovie. Hi, Lovie. This is Shannon Ryan from the Tribune. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Shannon. How are you?
Okay. I'm fine, thanks. I'm wondering, there's a lot of concern about young people not taking this too seriously. There's a lot of misinformation out there. I was wondering how, in your calls and Zoom sessions with players, how much are you stressing these ideas that you mentioned of listening to experts, staying away from each other, and do you check up on them and ask them, if they're following the rules?
Shannon, I'm going to go back. Keep in mind, 2 hours a day, we see our players. We're in communication with them 2 hours a day right now with our meetings. So it's just not football that we're talking about. And you have to have some trust of going over the rules in general. If everybody was on campus, in Champaign, we would be asking guys to do certain things, and then we would expect them to go out and follow our rules. We're hoping we're getting the same results. I see some of the same pictures that you do of people not following the rules, people still trying to keep spring break going on and different things like that. But as our football team, I just think we're more disciplined than that, and we'll continue to talk to young people about that, and I think that they'll follow these rules.
Hey, Lovie, this is Kevin Good with 247 Sports. What do you just think is lost from an evaluative perspective when you aren't seeing guys going against each other physically during spring ball?
Well, we are losing that. Make no mistake about it. But as long as everybody is losing that, to me, we still have the same level playing field. But during this time, when I mentioned, when I talked about we had gone through our 8-week all-season workout program, we were just getting ready to start our spring recruiting. So we missed valuable time. Spring practice is going to help a lot of we do have some young players, a lot of players that we need to see. Luckily, all three of our offense, defense, and special team systems are still in place, but there's a lot we could get done. And as far as going out recruiting, this was going to be a valuable time for us, too, for our coaches to see. To be a part of the evaluation process is being able to see guys live. So we're missing all that. There's no way around that, but everyone is missing it, and we'll just have to find other ways to rely on the video a little bit more than we normally would.
Lovie, this is Jeremy Warner from 24/7. I'm just wondering, how has your staff kind of adapted to the recruiting aspect of this?
When we say adapting, this is what we normally do. Each day we're watching video. If we were in our office, we'd be watching video daily and moving our board around, looking at finding new guys, just our recruiting plan that we had in place. None of that has changed except for we can't see guys. We can't get them on campus, so we have to find other ways to send out videos showing them Champaign, the University of Illinois, our coaches, just everything about our program. So besides that, it's kind of business as usual for us. We're just all doing it from remotely from different places. But there's communication. We're recruiting. We have a recruiting meeting 5 days a week, still going over recruits and what's happening with everybody that we're recruiting still.
Has this had any impact because you guys are so involved in the transfer market? What kind of impact do you think that'll have on it?
Well, good question. Yeah, it has had an impact because a lot of athletes haven't had a chance to go through spring recruiting. So we're just going to have to see how it goes, how it works on the other end, on who will be available. We do believe in the graduate transfer market is what I'm going to say. And I think we've gotten one graduate transfer that has committed to us right now. But eventually we're going to start football, and there'll be guys available then, and we'll just push things back until the lights come on.
Hey, Lovie, this is Chris Hummer with 24/7 Sports. I'm wondering, is there any sort of runway from a health and safety perspective in the summer that you feel you'll need to kind of get your players back on the field through conditioning safely ahead of the season?
Now, one more time, you talk about after we come back together, but just going along the same, using the same parameters as we have right now.
When you come back together, so like it's probably going to be pushed in May or June. Like, is there kind of a date you feel like guys have to be back in a summer conditioning program for them to be kind of safely ready for the season?
Now, I'm not trying to run away from your question, but as soon as possible, but whenever it happens, it happens. I mean, you have to take that approach. As a coach, you go into every game with a game plan, ideal game plan. It never goes that way. There's always about adjustments as a coach. And as I went into this, I knew that we would have to be making, pretty much daily adjustments. But right now, what we're doing is we're living from day to day. We try to have a week's plan, but then we're going to adjust along the way. And eventually, whenever we get started, let's say right now we know that we're not going back on campus for the rest of this semester at the University of Illinois. Whenever we come back on campus, we're just going to see where everyone is from there, evaluate our program, our guys, and then start working from there. Simple as that. But we'll know along the way who all has been working out and how much they have been working.
Coach, this is Bob Osmussen again. You have a strong group of leaders on this team. I assume that will help going forward, correct?
Absolutely will help. Bob, as I talked about, years back being young, we're older now. We have great leadership at every position. We have, our captains last year were outstanding, and four of the 5 captains are coming back. We're directing. As a head coach, I'm directing. As our coordinators are directing. Position coaches are. But then the players are also. So, again, this new normal we've only gone through as a team, getting work done as a football team for a week. But I feel confident on, what we're going to get, going through this. And a lot of that is based on the leaders that we have running our team.
Thanks, Coach.
Well,
hey, Lovie, Nico Hefflinger with Fox, Illinois. I saw that you retweeted a video of Doug Kramer pushing a truck the other day. How do you feel when you kind of see some of your older guys, kind of taking that initiative and posting some videos of their workouts that maybe can kind of inspire some of the younger guys to kind of get out, be creative, and keep working?
Well, I feel good. It's not like that surprised me at all. When I talked about our captains, of course, Doug, Alex Pelcheski, Jake Hansen, Blake Hayes. I know who those guys are, so it doesn't surprise me at all. And really, you go through and you kind of challenge the guys to come up with different ways to get a good workout in using, different items, different things. I thought that was pretty neat for Doug to come up with that. You know, as we kind of go through, I think most of you know, you're tired of hearing about me talking about how many push-ups I can do and things like that. I think it's pretty neat, you know, going through recruiting right now and asking guys on the other end, some of the young guys, how many push-ups they can do. And, of course, I can beat most of them, and us maybe sharing videos on how many we can. You can come up with a lot of different ways to stay in shape by yourself. And I'm not going on hearsay. I'm going on fact. And so the different ways guys are getting in shape is pretty interesting.
Lovie, this is Matt Stevens with Illini Maven Sports Illustrated. I wanted to follow up on Jeremy's recruiting question. With all the things you're doing in terms of video technology and the Skype, you know, video conferencing and the recruiting meetings that you're having, can you describe the level of optimism that you and your staff have that you're going to maybe get some of those grad transfers to sign without having been on campus with what you're doing? Is that an optimistic thought, or is that a necessity that you're going to have maybe have?
Honestly, well, we have to have it, and we have to get it done that way, and I think we will get it done that way. Again, these are just, you're throwing curveballs, as I said, daily. So you adjust from there, but we'll make our recruiting work still. And even without adding anyone, we feel confident in this football team. And I'm talking about based on, we talk a lot about what else is coming, the grad transfers is coming, but I'm basing our optimism on what we have right now. Freshmen coming in, returning roster that we have. Everything that we're saying is based on that. Everybody else we get coming in, as we see it, as a cherry on top.
Hi, Lovie. Peyton Western with Illini Sports Night here. I know Brian Kelly at Notre Dame was talking about a deadline of sorts when he would want to have his players in camp and preparing for the season. Do you have a date in mind this summer that you consider the latest time where you can get a full training camp in before seasons start? Thank you very much.
Yeah, I think it would be great if we lived in a world where we could get those kind of definite dates, but that's just not where we are. I'm just amazed at how much things have changed. We've changed our schedule around a little bit right now because we just don't know what's going to happen on that end. Yeah, in an ideal world, I'm talking University of Illinois. You know, in an ideal world, our guys are back this summer. We can start our summer workout. But that doesn't happen. Whenever we can get them in, it's fine. In an ideal world, we'd like to go to a normal training camp. But if that doesn't happen, we'll adjust. And once they say, turn the lights on, I think everybody has to be ready to turn the lights on then. And everything else is just speculation. And I don't deal in that much. I mean, you know, the older you get, you kind of live from day to day a little bit. And what we're going on, our new normal is that we assume that we're going to play football. And when they tell us that we can start practicing together, we're going to start practicing together and get as much done as we can before that first game. And I'll let the experts tell us when that'll be.
Hey, Lovie, this is Joey Wagner from the Decatur. I was just curious what your thoughts about how Lou and his strength staff have kind of adjusted on the fly with all of this, and kind of what you've seen out of him and that group through this process.
Well, right now, you know, it's probably, you know, for us, I mean, this would have been our first week of spring practice, so we're missing a lot with that. But pretty soon after spring practice, you know, it would be really about Lou and our strength conditioning staff getting the team ready before training camp. So, and how we've adjusted right now, I mean, there's a reason why we have one of the best weight rooms in the country, in the Smith Center, Performance Center. Can't use it, but again, Coach Lou has been around a long period of time, and there are other ways to, without going over our entire strength and conditioning program, he's a veteran coach that knows how to get it done based on what equipment each player has, and that's what we're doing. We've been working on the plan a little bit. As I said, the Thursday before spring break is when we released our players. We've had a chance to really start prepping and getting ready for this period of time we're in right now. And that's what I've seen from Coach Lou, and that's from getting supplements to certain players that need them, to the customized plan that we have for each one of our players. Feel confident about it.
Lovie, it's Jeremy again. Do you want to brag about how many push-ups you can do?
You know, then it would be like bragging, so I'm just going to leave it to that. But we can all improve. You know, it makes you kind of take a step back when you're spending a lot of time. I mean, there's a lot of bad things about this period of time that we're going through. And the people that are dying each day, the people that are sick. For some of us who've been fortunate enough to not go through, there's a time to, you know, to spend more time together as a family, you know, to get to know your wife, your spouse, your kids, and just your immediate family a lot better, whoever you're spending time with. And it's also a time for all of us to reassess our physical condition, too. You know, some of the things we have to do, wash our hands, keep our hands out, you know, off around our mouth and our eyes. A lot of these things we should be doing anyway. So I'm kind of skirting around the deal about push-ups. I'll just say this, Jeremy. I can do a whole lot more than you, I'm sure.
We can try that.
That's kind of a challenge, too, for the rest.
We can try it sometime. Hey, Coach, this is Bob. One more question. How good will it feel for you to be back on the field? Have you thought about that ahead? How will it feel for you? How will it feel for you to be back on the field when you get back there?
Oh, it's going to feel real, of course, Bob. It's going to feel great when we get back there. Bob, as I talked earlier about how we used to do it, you know, we would leave our university for the summer. You'd be gone from May, June, July, you would come back. 3 months away, and you couldn't wait to get back with your group. First off, to show them, you know, it's kind of good sometimes to catch that. We're always trying to catch the guy that's in front of us. And sometimes when you're together and you're doing the same workouts, you kind of see how it's progress. But when you go away, you can come back with totally new you. That's how it used to be back in the day. And there was a lot of excitement when that day came. So that's how we're looking at it right now. I can't wait to see. I'm expecting all of our guys to make big games, and we get a chance to practice football again. It would have been a year, if you look at it a little bit, by us missing entire spring. So we're going to be anxious and ready to go when that day comes.
Thanks, Coach.
Lovie, this is Shannon again. Just speaking of the personal side of this, how have you spent, you know, those moments where you would have maybe been in the office? I know you like hanging around your grandkids, but have you taken up any new hobbies or tried any new things, watched some new shows? Just wondering from the personal side for you what you've been doing.
Well, Shannon, our day, as I say it now, we have, you know, just a typical day at the University of Illinois. Now we may have 4 DIA staff meetings. You know, I mentioned our recruiting meetings that we have, team, position, group meetings, staff meetings. There's a lot of things going on still. It's not like our entire day is available for us to, you know, find new things to do. And, you know, we've been quarantined and pretty much, you know, in our home here. So I'm just kind of getting to know my wife a little better as much as anything. But no new hobbies, anything like that. But I'm planning on, you know, eventually we're getting back together. And it's an ideal time to just spend more time, you know, in football as much as anything, and making the most of it.
I'm suggesting you just keep doing push-ups so you can beat Jeremy when we all get back together.
I can handle Jeremy right now. But Shannon, on a personal note too, my sister-in-law is a doctor in Louisiana. It's just interesting to see all the things that she's having to deal with. My daughter-in-law, Kara, of course, works at Carl there, you know, in Champaign. So there's a lot of healthcare people that are out there that are doing so much to keep this country safe and help us, you know, fight this disease. You're talking about some MVPs. You know, those are 2 definite MVPs that we have right in the immediate Smith family here.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Hey, Coach, it's John Sapini with Orange and Blue News. How optimistic are you that there will be a season this fall?
Well, hopefully you know me a little bit, John, that my glass is always half full. So I'm optimistic of that. And how I live is I go on facts. You know, the difference between perception and reality. And to me, the reality for us right now is that we're not going to go through spring football here. You know, for the most part, our school is out this semester. And from there, I assume that eventually we're going to play football and that we're going to get control. But I'm watching the news. I should say a part of my daily routine is watching the news to listen to the experts tell us. But from there, we're just ready for whatever comes our way is what we're trying to deal with. I don't think there's anything else you can do except for that. But yes, optimistic, football will be played.
Hey, Lovie, this is Gavin Good again. Back a couple weeks ago, Josh Whitman in his press conference was talking about social distancing and, self-isolating and changing the practices, maybe before a lot of the population was really thinking about all that stuff. What do you just see the value of his leadership as, in this time and given everything that's been going on?
Well, what I've seen from Josh is what I see from Josh daily. I mean, he's smart, he's bright, he gets it. And Josh, our senior leadership, I should say. So that's what I expect. And what Josh is doing is he's keeping all of us informed. And I'm talking about, senior leadership, staff. He talks to the students, parents, weekly. So that's what it's about, just getting people as much information as you possibly can. I don't feel like anyone can get too much information, but Josh, of course, is leading that, just like he's led the rebirth of our Illinois programs as much as anything. So that's what we expect from him. He's doing a great job of that.
Paul Banks, I think you had a question. Are you able to ask your question?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes. Go ahead.
All right, thanks. Lovie, my question is just when summer practice starts up, do you think it might be more intense, more live, or what do you think it'll be like given, all that we've gone through as a country and having to miss out on spring ball and all of that?
A few thoughts on that. I have an NFL background. In our NFL background, we didn't have spring practice. We didn't have, I'm talking about physical work. We didn't have in the summer, and you got to training camp, and then you start getting ready for a season. Where we are today with football, it's been adjusted along the, for years, for a long period of time. And so right now we may have to make some adjustments. I don't know exactly what that would be. I don't know if more enhanced, as you say, workouts we're just got to see where all of our players are. But I don't think hitting more, moving up, making training camp a lot longer, anything like that. I don't know if that's the answer right now. I just think if we continue to keep our athletes and our athletes stay in pretty good physical condition, I think you can work with and adjust everything else to eventually put a good product and have everybody ready when that day comes. I've seen it happen in the past. I've seen guys miss the majority of the spring workouts and summer workouts and then still have outstanding seasons. So I'm going more of the premise that that's what's going to happen for all of us.
Thanks for doing this, Coach.
Thank you. Take care.
Lovie, this is Matt Stevens real quick. I apologize if I missed it in your intro, but can you give us an update on if everybody in your program is healthy, whether that's roster players, staff, support system? Have you had any scares in that regard since this epidemic has started?
I assume you're talking about the coronavirus. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the one thing. The more I'm educated, as far as I know, we don't have anyone that's tested positive. And of course, that's going on, what they're saying and what's really happening at the time. But I guess right now, all of us, we don't really know, since we hadn't been tested for sure. But right now, there's no known case of anyone, staff or, player-wise that has tested positive.
It's Gavin Good again. did you ever imagine you'd be conducting, virtual meetings with an entire team? So like an 80-plus person meeting on Zoom, and what is that like doing that?
Well, no, that wasn't a part of my handbook, things to go over. But part of my day, though, is to expect unexpected. Anything can happen, and you adjust from there. I just know that nowadays you can do just about everything with modern technology. And I'll have to say it was pretty neat to have, there's some firsts that you go through. The first meeting remotely like that with that many people on. And, we're using the Zoom application where my first meeting that I held with the team this week, Tuesday, I could see everybody. Just like if I was in a meeting room in the Smith Center, the best facility in football, I would be able to see everyone's face. That's exactly what I was able to do. And that's exactly what I'm able to do every team meeting, every position meeting, every group meeting that we have. So you can really get a lot done. As far as, classroom work, I think we can get as much done right now as we will be getting done if we were back all together in one room. So that hasn't affected us that much at all. It was pretty neat.